The best way to handle the client scenario when now they can see all of the individual stocks like Tesla and Amazon, whatever it is, and actually see that on their statement, that does cause anxiety or concern for a lot of advice. And I do understand because I was concerned about it before we started doing it with my own client base. I have zero concern now because I've had zero questions about why is Tesla in the portfolio or why is Tesla not in the portfolio or any of those things. I've had zero of those questions in 3 years. It doesn't mean that it won't ever come, but and when it does, the bottom line is the probability of the client base asking the questions is extremely low. It's a concern that just isn't real. I understand the concern, but in real life, it doesn't actually happen. The concern that the advisors have when I talk to Stu with them is they'll go, but I don't have all the analytics and all the research on all these individual companies. And I go, that's right. But prior to doing this, you had clients invested in these ETFs. And they go, yeah, that's right. And I said, what's inside the ETFs? And they say, all of those companies' individual stocks. I said, so just because the client's not asking, it doesn't mean that they can't ask you those same similar questions, which is what's inside this ETF? What's in here? What do I actually own and why? So all of the same type of questions are still going to potentially be there. So we just help advisors by preparing them for how to best answer these questions. For example, when they're concerned that the client's going to say, why do I have these 200 stocks instead of whatever? It's real simple. We are mimicking an index with this portfolio. So you own the constituents of this index. You just happen to be able to see it now. You owned them before. You just had an opaque layer, we call a mutual fund or an ETF, in between you and this new transparency. So now you just have transparency into your situation. There's no reason for the advisor to need to feel like they have to know all of the details about every single one of the, because they didn't know all the details about every single one of the companies before, and their client owned in an indirect way, owned those individual companies at the same time. So that's the way I view it and the way we teach the advisors that implement these strategies to teach their clients.